You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Morning decisions. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
I mean, you're living in your mother's basement writing a blog on finance. Really, you should stay off the computer, son, and get a job. Seriously.
Live from Joe's mom's basement, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we're getting out the crystal ball today to figure out why millions of people are close to retirement and have no savings. Today, to help us figure it out, is Army veteran and retirement guru Benjamin Brandt. You know, I got to break script here for just a minute, Joe, and just say, Benjamin, I really have to thank you for the acting you did in Miss Congeniality and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, too. I mean, it's top shelf performance, man. It spoke to me, it moved me, and I got to be a fanboy here on this one. Plus, the man who's beating the retirement age average and doing it in style, Len Penzo. And a lady writing her own retirement ending in English and Spanish, Paulette Perhach. But that's not all. Halfway through the show, we're going to find out which panelist can get my ageless trivia question. And now, a guy who can talk about money until the cows come home, it's Joe Saul-Sehy.
Hey there, Stackers, and happy Friday to you. Thank you for the introduction, Doug. I am Joe Saul-Sehy, Average Joe Money on Twitter. And what a fun day we're going to have today, because we're going to help more people retire on time, if not early. I'm super pumped about that. I'm pumped that we've got these people with us. We'll introduce our special guest here in just a moment, but let's start off with a man deep under Los Angeles in his bunker with the tinfoil hat. It's Mr. Len Penzo. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. It's one of my favorite topics today, so let's get this party started.
You know, Len, you guys in California, you've had the forest fires, you've had the floods. What if next month we have the locusts? Like, what do you do then?
You know, we don't need any more bad ideas out here, Joe. Locusts, no, I'm still trying to get over the flooding part. Right now, my backyard it's about under an inch of water. We've had so much water and rain here. So let's hold the locusts off, please.
The good news, Len, is if you do get another natural disaster, you're never going to have to file taxes. Don't they just keep pushing your tax filing date out because of all the stuff going on? So I think maybe you should roll the dice. Locusts, you know, they taste great. They're nice and crunchy.
That's what I hear, actually. You know what? I am not opposed to trying a cricket or a locust, something like that. I am not opposed to that. If somebody wants to send me a chocolate-covered cricket or whatever the heck they make out there.
Go to Thailand.
Doug, are you saying that all this misery is just a tax conspiracy?
There's always a silver lining. That's all I'm saying. It's just I mean, I'm a glass half full guy. You know that.
I think that's a bridge too far. I think that might be. It might be the first sign of the zombie apocalypse, though. The woman who's always holding off the zombie apocalypse in her bank account is here. I don't know. I'm trying to join them up, Paulette. Paulette Perhach is here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Getting ready to go to Camp FI this weekend for the first time, so that'll put retirement right on the top of mind.
It's so fun. So how are you with camping? Are you a big camper?
This one is actually half an hour from my house, so having just gotten back from a 10-day camping trip, mostly 70% camping, and a big trip to Seattle where I stayed at 4 different places, I'm going to come home at night.
Don't tell anybody. You're not sleeping on the 1/4-inch mattresses, and you're not getting the full experience, though, Paulette.
Well, I am getting my bed experience, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
I would be very happy with that too. Joining us as well from the great state of North Dakota, where I got a sticker that said, I saved the best for last. Ben Brandt is here. How are you, man?
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And thanks for coming to hang out with me in North Dakota.
Oh, that was so fun last summer. And by the way, for people that haven't been to North Dakota, very seriously, what are you waiting for? I mean, you got so excited about it, Ben, you moved there.
That's right. Yeah, I moved here.
But I think you moved there when you were born, right?
Yes, I think I was like 18 months old, so I had very little say in the whole experience. But I'd like to say I voted for North Dakota.
But you did decide to stay. Yes. We're super happy you're here. Let's talk about your new podcast. You got a brand new podcast out that's all about just the most exciting topic on earth.
Oh, yeah. So me and my buddy, Stephen Jarvis, he's a CPA and I'm a CFP. And we have combined our forces like the Power Rangers. And we're talking about the confluence of retirement planning and tax planning. So we call it the Least Boring Tax Podcast, also known as the Retirement Tax Podcast.
So just to be clear, you're not trying to compete with that guy that has the Sleep With Me podcast where he puts you to sleep after like 15 minutes?
Results may vary.
Maybe not going after that audience. If people find it right where they find your show, Retirement Starts Today, right?
Yeah. Just search Benjamin Brandt on any of your podcast catchers or Retirement, and we'll probably pop up in all the top spots.
Yeah, and Paulette, just back to you for just a second before we get rolling. You working on any good financial pieces right now?
Financial pieces, I'm doing another possible money memoir proposal. I had one in 2016 that didn't get picked up because they wanted a prescriptive money book because we don't have enough of those. There's like 3, 4, 20,000. So my agent thought now might be a good time to put it out there again. So I just zhuzhed up my proposal and might be sending it out for a money memoir. We'll see.
It turns out, Paulette, we only need one prescriptive book. It came out last year. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Stacked.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That one too. Yeah,
That's
that was
great.
A good one.
Yeah, now that we have that one, why would we need any other one?
Yes. Len Penzo's money memoir is how the Kirkland brand saved his life. I don't know if you know that, Paulette, but he's all about Kirkland for the win.
I thought it was called Don't Buy Down by the Tracks.
Maybe both, Len?
Probably, Don't Buy Down by the Tracks. That's probably my magnum opus, Paulette. That's very good. I think that's the big one. But yeah, and you know what? I don't discriminate. Kirkland, any store brand works for me.
Aldi, Trader Joe's.
Absolutely.
You're for all of them. Yes.
Absolutely.
We'll start counting up all the cool store brands here while everybody listens to this. In business, there is no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. And when you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on, because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else, your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS Ground Advantage. We mean business. I had a breakfast mentoring meeting yesterday with a young woman who was just amazing. She is graduating from college with a degree in wealth management, and she reached out hoping for some pointers. And listen, if somebody's in Texarkana and wants to go into this beautiful field of personal finance and helping people get their money together, that is incredible. But even more incredible is how she reached out, how she was trying to network. And I was having a discussion that finding the right person and avoiding the wrong person for a role, that's what can make or break an organization. And we just don't see that many qualified people. So how do you find them? Well, Indeed Sponsored Jobs is a boost whenever you need to find quality talent. If you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. You can stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. You'll match with quality candidates with Indeed's Sponsored Jobs. Get matched with and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Reach candidates who meet your specific criteria like skills, certifications, or location. It drives me crazy when I'm matched with all kinds of people who aren't a fit. I don't have that kind of time. People are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 95% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all the boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored job. And here's what's cool, Stackers. You're going to get $75 in sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support Stacking Benjamins by saying you heard about Indeed right here at Stacking Benjamins. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Well, it turns out there's more than 7, Len. There's more than 7, so we're good. We got Benjamin Brandt here with us, Len Penzo, Paulette Perhach, Mom's Neighbor Doug. So let's get rolling. Today, we are inspired by a piece from Apex Money Blog. It is a curation site where Jim Wang and JD Roth curate some of their favorite pieces that are out in financial land. Just go to apexmoney.com. And instead of focusing on just one story, they focus here on millions of Americans nearing retirement age with no saving. In fact, this piece from CBS News we used to kick us off today. Millions of Americans nearing their golden years are still financially unprepared for retirement. According to U.S. Census Bureau data, 50% of women, 40% of men between the ages of 55 and 66, wait for it, have no retirement savings. Ben, does that surprise you?
It's shocking, but not surprising. It's really hard when, you should be saving in your 20s and 30s, right? Everybody would say that, but it's so hard to visualize your future self that it's hard to ascribe money to a version of your future self when, a lot of people are either actively or reactively just living for today. So it's very difficult.
Do you think that's the number one reason, Paulette, is that, you and I have talked a lot about how we have a little trouble focusing, sometimes. Is it that we don't focus on retirement, so it just gets away from us?
Yeah. And I think, there is a cognitive bias where when you think about yourself in the future, it literally activates a different part of your brain than thinking about yourself right now. So it really is like this, you're alienated from yourself in the future as far as like your decision making. And there's another, cognitive bias. It's not a bias, but it's this idea that comes from behavioral economics that we need this nudge, right? And there's a way in which we can be nudged toward behavior. And a lot of people never get that nudge. And so if you don't work for a company, I'm very thankful that the company I worked for in college started retirement funds for us. And it just got me started, which was amazing. So a lot of people are never like, now is the time you start, right? If you only ever work at places that don't have retirement plans, when is the time when you're like, okay, today's the day I actually am going to start my Roth IRA?
I love that idea of a nudge and about how just a little nudge, I think, can go a long way. Len or Ben, did either of you guys get a nudge at an early age?
I had a lot of nudges. Yeah, my grandfather, he worked for soil conservation, but if financial advisor would have been a profession back in the 50s, he would have been that. And back when CDs used to pay interest, he would have one of those engineer papers with the squares on it. He would show me how he would ladder CDs and roll them over and make ladders and things like that. So from a very, very young age, I was taught the benefits of saving.
Len, it seems like you and Ben's grandpa would have been best friends.
Right. It sounds like we have the same notebooks, actually. That's the ones with the little squares on
How
it.
do you know they weren't, Joe? They're the same age.
Wait a minute. Is Len Benjamin's grandfather? I think Len Penzo might be Benjamin Brandt's grandfather.
Benjamin.
Yeah, hey, welcome to the Maury Povich Show, everybody.
You're really
this is
Benjamin?
Actually a disguised Maury Povich.
You are the father.
I'm your father, Benjamin.
Ben, I'd be so afraid. I'd be so afraid right now. But Len, did you get a nudge at an early age?
Yeah, my cousin, CPA cousin Kevin, is the one. He really opened my eyes to the importance of saving early. He gave me some really simple examples, like if somehow you were able to save starting at age 1, maybe your parents set aside $1,000 a year for 6 years, the first 6 years of your life, and then you didn't do anything else the rest of your life, and you earned, I can't remember the percentages right now, so please, people, don't email me, email Joe if I've got these numbers wrong, but it's something like you'd have $1 million at a 8% return compounded annually by the time you were 65. And those kind of little examples really stuck with me, and it encouraged me actually to take care of my own situation. So yes.
Is this, Doug, where I got it wrong? I'm wondering, because my cool cousins, when I was growing up, were teaching me like what AC/DC was and how to get away with, murder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were they CPAs? Were they CPAs though, Joe?
They weren't. Len, at the age of 8, is in his cousin's bedroom learning all about the miracle of compounding interest. Is that what I'm hearing? The cool cousin?
Yeah.
Well, they were learning about AC/DC too, like as electricity was being released into homes. That's what Len's AC/DC experience was.
They're learning about the whole different AC/DC.
Hey, look, I was a nerdy kid, so that kind of stuff fascinated me when I was younger. And maybe not at 8 years old, but definitely when I was in my late teens, that stuff got my attention. It really did.
Have you tried playing with fire?
Oh, yeah.
Paulette's about to play with the fire movement in
I have regrets about even starting this conversation.
At the what? Why?
Nothing.
At Camp Fi?
Yeah.
You're going to go play with fire at Camp Fi. Absolutely. What's your speech going to be about?
Oh, I'm not doing one.
Just forget that. You're just going.
Well, they invited me to, but I was like, what would I have to talk to people? There's this misconception that just because I wrote this piece that went viral about personal finance that I am this guru. And I'm like, I am not. So I've had all these weird feelings about it, paired with the fact that I was doing these 2 huge events. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this I don't know if I can prepare a talk. So I was doing a new practice for me, which is saying no to things or not now. And so I just said, I'm going to go check it out this time. And then I was like, oh, duh, I could have just talked about pet sitting. Like I could talk about pet sitting for 20 minutes, but that just occurred to me like yesterday. So I should have done that.
You're going to find out that most people that give talks at these Camp Fis are not gurus. They're just regular people telling about their experience, which is really fun. But yeah, you'll see it. You don't got to be a guru. Ben, when your grandfather was showing you this stuff, did that stick? I mean, have you been good with saving the whole time?
In some aspects, yes. So it hasn't always been like put money in your savings account, saving, but I've been really good at either saving, squirreling money away, or investing in myself. So I'm always investing in a new course or a new coach or a new mastermind group or something like that. So I'm either investing in myself or investing in the market.
Paulette, when did the light bulb come on for you?
I'm still waiting.
I kind of feel the same, because for me, I never had that light bulb until I got to the point where I'm like, oh, crap, I should start. And then I remember feeling the panic in my early 30s. Then I realized that the business I was building was actually an asset. It had never occurred to me that my business was an asset.
That is huge.
Never thought about it.
I think that is definitely we need to discuss that more, because I look at the spreadsheet and I feel terrible. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I have a 6-figure business. That is not nothing. So I have to remember, I was taking an accounting class attempting to understand small business finance. And, they said not all assets show up on the balance sheet. And I was like, that is so important to remember.
Ben?
Well, so we're in a unique situation as entrepreneurs, especially if we like what we're doing, because we have an opportunity to craft a lifestyle that we never have to retire from. So as long as we're investing in ourselves and making sure we're competitive in the marketplace, I feel that that's actually we have less of a reason than a non-entrepreneur to save in traditional aspects like a 401k. You should still do that, but investing in a lifestyle that you don't feel the need to retire from. Of course, you need disability insurance and life insurance just in case things don't work out the way that you thought. But I've done a lot less saving in the traditional aspect and more growing my business and then making sure I'm living a life of balance so that I'm, not burnt out at 60 and hopefully work till I'm, Warren Buffett's age.
Yeah, right. But Paulette, I think about your business. Your business is dependent on you. So that must lead to thoughts of how do I make it go beyond Paulette Perhach to be a business that is replicatable by somebody else.
Yeah, and I do have courses that I sell, and I have my software for writers, writersmissioncontrolcenter.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I need disability insurance like now?
Well, yes, unless there's some other way for cash to come in. You need own occupation disability insurance.
Own occupation disability insurance, ONW.
Which especially is important for you, Paulette, because of the fact that you're dependent on those digits. And if you don't have those,
I type with my toes.
Yeah, she's ambidextrous. Well, if the fingers and toes go, then who knows? But own occupation is important, Ben. Besides that, why?
Well, so I'm not an insurance expert, but own occupation means that, Paulette is making courses and writing books and doing all sorts of fun things. That's her own occupation versus any occupation, meaning essentially if you can lick an envelope, you won't have a claim because you could do any occupation. So own occupation is more specific, probably more expensive, but that's probably what you want because you want to protect your own abilities and your own income that you're earning now.
Len, that light bulb came on at an early age. Did it ever flicker? Did it ever go away before you got serious about retirement?
It didn't flicker, but I did realize when I started out, you're talking about saving and investing. I know, I started out by saving too much and investing too little. So I understood that, hey, you got to save money to reach some goal down the road. But when I was younger, I was too safe. I was either just putting money in savings accounts, trying to build that way, which was really stupid, and not investing enough. And it took a while for that light bulb to go on and go, hey, you're young. It's time to, you need to take risks. You can't just grow your money by saving alone. You have to invest. And that's a key component if you really want to have enough for what your goals are in your retirement years. So, it took me a while to figure that out. Too much saving and not enough investing.
That was the first time that inflation actually made sense to me, was when I realized that if I just saved and didn't invest, I was going to have to save dollar for dollar. And then I started doing the math on.
The other thing that the light bulb went on is, and people don't think about this too. I know they don't, because even now I'm still my head's kind of spinning about the whole thing. When you've saved this big pile of money that you've got in you've got your retirement savings, you don't realize you have to pay taxes. So at some point, most of that money you're saving is a lot of it, if you're 401k or what have you, or a Roth IRA, or not a Roth, but a regular IRA. That money has not been taxed. And you have to make sure you're accounting for those taxes in retirement that you're going to have to pay out. So you have this kind of false sense of security that, But
you don't with a Roth, right?
I'm sorry, what?
With a Roth, unless you have a Roth IRA.
Yes, Roth, the taxes come out first, right?
Good thing I was here, Len, the expert.
She could have talked about that. Paulette, you could talk about that at Camp Fi. There you go.
I remember it because I always think about who's that old 80s rock star Roth, David Lee Roth, that his body was pre-taxed in the 90s or 80s or whatever.
I love that.
That's how I remember it. Thank you. I tried to tell this to a younger person. They were like,
I don't get it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That always scares me. I always get sad when I tell a joke and somebody's too young to get it. I'm like, oh, come on. Not that much of a fossil.
I'm fine with time having passed since I was born. I think that's okay.
Yeah, but when the joke doesn't go because of that. I'm not.
That's more about your judgment.
That's how I warmed up for this interview. I did all those jump kicks. You guys didn't see that just off camera. My David Lee Roth jumping kicks.
I love it.
That's how Ben split his pants, was to do it one jump kick. Yeah, I did jump kick, not kicks. You know what's funny is that for me, the light bulb was my business. But what I realized, and I don't know, Paulette, if you felt the same way too about your business, was then I very quickly realized that I wasn't diversified. Like all of a sudden I had this retirement asset, but I had zero diversification, and now it was all based on this. And then I don't know why, all of a sudden this idea that, oh my goodness, I don't want it all to be in my business, was the reason why I finally got started saving.
Yeah. I mean, I do save, but I am counting on the business. I'm like, come on, baby.
Yeah.
Mama needs that anthropology skirt.
Do you save or do you invest, Paulette?
I invest. I send my $100 a week to Betterment. And then I also invest in paying down my credit card bills, which have peaked again and hit a new digit, and I'm not happy about it.
I got a question about the future. I don't know if I'm happy about it or not. Are these numbers changing? Do you think these numbers are getting better? Because there's people from 55 to 65 right now. When I was growing up, Ben, we'll start with you. I didn't see kids in high school on their phone, with Robinhood app, who are trading stocks, not because I don't think it's because it's just fun. I think it's partly gambling, right? Savings equals gambling for kids. It's like, and then they tell their parents they're saving, and parents are happy as all get out. Kid looks at it as gambling. Parents look at it as saving. But is this going to maybe back end people into better habits as they get a little bit older and make it easier for them, and we'll have more retirement saving? Is this a problem that's going to go away?
I'm confident that it will go away, but probably not right away. There's a lot of speculating. We saw it probably more last year and the year before, but lots of speculating, kind of get rich quick gambling. But there's no better time to go broke than when you're 21 and trading penny stocks or whatever it is. But my hope is that interest in money, once you go broke, then it'll manifest itself in more healthy areas like investing in index funds, emergency funds, things like that. So I think it's healthy and it's okay to get burned in your early 20s. We just convert that interest into something that's more sustainable long term. So I think, while it makes me nervous as an advisor, I think it's a good thing long term.
You agree with that, Paulette?
Absolutely. He's the expert.
Well, and Len, I wanted to ask you about what Ben said about no better time to go broke than when you're 21. Do you think that changes the game as well? You saved a lot of money but didn't invest. We're going to see kids doing a lot of investing and learn how to maybe be responsible savers later? Like take your problem because of Robinhood, we're flipping it on its head?
Yes, and I think that's a great point. And now that could be a problem, actually. I'm afraid, a lot of the kids today, that are out there, good for them investing. And maybe if some of them are more speculating than, they're taking some really wild risks and they're putting, instead of speculating with like 1 or 2% of your portfolio, they're trying to hit the home run right off the bat and they get burned. I'm afraid that they're going to become savers rather than investors, and it's still going to backfire on them. So that's why it's really important that you have that mix, that portfolio mix up front that's appropriate, and that you understand that, you take as much risk as you're willing to, only that you're willing to handle, knowing that when you're young, you can recover, from a downturn. It's just important, though, don't be a speculator. Don't confuse investing with speculating, because that's where you're going to get in trouble. I think if you're investing, you'll be fine.
But the good news is, Len, if your risk tolerance is back down from speculating on June puts of Apple stock into diversification, you still might have an acceptably high risk tolerance to get where you want to go, which is much better than trying to get somebody from a savings account, right, into an all stock portfolio.
Yeah.
In the second half of this discussion, we're going to talk about what do we do about it? How much of this is who you surround yourself with, the value of advisors. Is there anything to be said for scaring yourself, maybe lighting a fire under yourself? Any value there, or does that just make it worse? But before we get to that, at the halfway point of every Friday show, we have this year-long competition going on between our 3 frequent contributors, Len Penzo, Paulette Perhach, and our very own OG. Benjamin, you're playing on behalf of the OG team, which is good news and bad news. Do you want the good news first or the bad news?
Good news first.
The good news is you are tied for the lead. You have 4 points. The bad news is because you are the reigning champion, my friend, that means you have to guess first. Paulette, I actually have some good news for you because you haven't been here in a couple weeks. Janice Torres and Lacey Langford ripped it up for you. You are now tied for first place.
Yes.
I think this is the first time a team, you came on when it was Team Paula Pant.
Yeah.
And you brought Paula back last year, and now Team Paulette Perhach tied for first.
Amazing.
Len, you're in this weird spot of being in last, which means you're going to go first. You've got 3. Score is 4-4-3. We could have a 3-way tie at the end of this, but we'll never know unless we get a question, and Doug has that. Doug, what's today's trivia question?
Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and I will never retire. It's not work if you love what you do, right? It also takes a special skill set to pursue my number one passion, hunting garage sales for broken down mowers to fix and flip. But it turns out I'm not the only one saying no to retirement. According to a 2022 Gallup poll, people think they know when they want to retire, but it turns out that just like my lawnmower flipping career, sometimes it doesn't go according to plan. Some people get all skittish about buying a beautiful, absolutely 100% clean mower that just happens to smoke a little. Or, maybe like a chimney, smoke a little more. And others are afraid to tell the boss to take a hike. In either case, we can't always get it right. So let's make that Gallup poll our question. What age do most Americans think they'll retire at? It's my break time, so I'll be back right after I go heat up some of Joe's mom's stew. They say lawnmowers are bad, but how about the gamble of eating stew straight out of the microwave? I mean, how about this question? When I return, will I or won't I have a third-degree burn on the roof of my mouth? Am I right?
I think that's the real question, Doug. Doug will be back in a second with the answer. So let's lock in our questions. Or lock in our answers, I guess, not lock in our questions. We have so many questions about Doug, don't we? On a weekly basis. Benjamin, what age do most Americans actually retire?
Actually retire? Well, based on the statistics that you shared, some of them will never retire. But did you want my guess?
Yes. What's the Gallup poll number?
Okay.
No, we don't want your guess. We'd like you to pontificate.
Wait,
for
is
a
it
while.
when do they think they'll retire or when do they actually retire?
It is what day do they actually retire?
Okay.
Oh, actually. Oh, okay. I was going with how optimistic are they thinking? Okay.
No.
What age do they actually retire? I'm going to say 62 because that's
Joe.
the easiest you can get Social Security.
Joe,
Wait a minute. It is what age
when do they
most
think they'll retire?
That changes my answer. That definitely changes
Will
my
you just
answer.
leave the trivia to me, dude?
I can't live like this.
I got it. I got lost. Lawnmowers and stew, and I don't know what the hell we're talking about. I got no idea.
You wrote it.
How am I didn't write it. I had no idea. It wasn't me. Not this time. All right, Ben.
All right. So my guess is based on we're being overly optimistic and we like nice round numbers. So we think we're going to retire at 60.
At 60. Paulette, what do you think about that answer?
Oh, I don't get to Chelsea Brennan anybody?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you can,
right.
but you might get sandwiched.
A lot harder not
People
going
think
last.
they're retired. See, I was going the other way. I was thinking people were like, I'm never going to retire. I'm going to say 70.
Age 70. Len, what are you going to do with those two numbers?
Yeah, Len.
Well, that's a tough. I was hoping you'd say like 60 years in one day, Paulette. That would have made my job a lot easier. Now, 70 is a good guess because I was thinking a lot of them are going to say, like Ben was suggesting, that they'll never retire. Wow. I really want to say higher than 70, but gosh, this is harder than I thought going last. I'm going to say, gosh, do most people think they're going to retire after 70? Oh, I'm going to kick myself if I don't get this. I'm going to kick myself.
All right, text me when this is over.
All right, I'm going to go below 70. I'm going to say 69 years, 364 days.
Wow. By one day. And not 23 hours and 59 minutes.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry.
We don't want to leave any room for...
So Len takes the under on the bigger number, and we've got age 60, age 70, and age 69, and all the change until 69 and New Year's Eve, just before the ball drops. We'd love to tell you who the winner is, and we don't play that way, though. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
All right, we started off, Ben, age 60. You set the bar. Everybody else went a lot older. What do you think? You feeling good?
I am brimming with unearned confidence, like every day in my life.
Paulette, if it really is after age 70, if people think they're going to work forever, you got this one locked.
I know. I'm maybe excited. We'll see. Or we have a three-way tie.
Len, I think you have exactly age 65 on up, right? Because you get it by a day, 66 on up?
Nope.
Or does he got 64 on up?
I feel like Len's going to get it.
You know what? Gosh, I've got to have this one.
If Len's got it, we got a three-way tie. Doug, what's our answer, man?
Hey there, stackers. I'm side hustling sometimer and mower master, Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. And today, we're talking about the age Americans expected to retire. It's a number that has gone up by 4 years since the last Gallup poll 20 years ago and is higher than the reality of when the average retirement age really is. And spoiler alert, it's an age that often doesn't pan out. The poll also shows that 73% of those asked want to go cold turkey into retirement, while 43% want to slowly work their way into retirement. Just like me getting into a cold pool. There's probably going to be some shrinkage. So, at what age do most Americans think they'll retire? Well, Benjamin, on behalf of OG, was 6 years off.
Oof.
Paulette Perhach, on behalf of Paulette Perhach, was 4 years off. Len Penzo was 3 years, 364 days, and like 32 seconds off. The answer is 66, which means Len Penzo's our winner without a chicken dinner, but we have a three-way tie, folks.
Yes.
A three-way tie.
Better than the NCAA March Madness. This trivia just keeps on paying out.
That was close. That was super, super close. That's exciting. Congratulations, Mr. Penzo.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a speech?
Yes. I'd like to thank Doug for coming up with a great question, and I would like to thank Paulette for moving into second last week so I could go last this week.
Where's that Academy music, the walk-off music that they play that gets louder and louder? We should have had that to start playing the second he started. Let's go into the second half of our discussion about people retiring with no money and maybe reversing that course. Our discussion today, Ben, is brought to you by Magnify Money. You know what happens when you go to StackyBenjamins.com/magnify-money?
You have more money to magnify?
It is incredible how that works. Absolutely. You go there, StackyBenjamins.com/magnify-money. You find out those brick and mortar bank products you've been using all along. Probably not best in class. Lots of online banking happening out there, people. Over 92% of them ranked head-to-head at Magnify Money, whether it's checking accounts, CD rates, savings accounts, and that changes depending on where you are in the nation. So put in your zip code, and you'll very quickly get a list of these are the top rates, these are the lowest rates, plus any issues in getting into them. If you need to have $10,000 to invest, $5,000, and how easy the bank is to work with. Lots of ratings there too. StackyBenjamins.com/magnify-money so that you can get a better banking experience. All right. J.L. Collins has a piece that Jim Wang references here at Apex Money, talking about somebody investing in their home, which, Len, I want to start with you. Saving for retirement and saying my home is my number one retirement asset. When I was a financial planner, was always the thing that made me just roll my eyes. I don't think we see that as much today as we did back then. But how much of not retiring is being in the wrong investment, do you think? How important is it to pick the right investment vehicle?
When it comes to retirement, I think everybody should, when they're figuring that number out, don't include your home equity at all. That to me makes no sense at all. The other thing is when you retire, I mean, like I said, you've got to be more risk. You got to take more risk when you're younger. And when you're older, like me, you want to make sure you're kind of less risky. So you don't want to, you're a lot more vulnerable when you're older, mainly because you have less years to recover from any mistakes. So you want to be a little more conservative. So yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do when, it all depends on your age.
Ben, do we need to get all nerdy about our asset allocation, especially when we're starting out?
No, you just want a lot of upside and a lot of flexibility. And so to me, that screams Roth. We already have paid the tax bill, and that's usually our highest our most aggressive asset that's going to grow, and we can access it even before we turn traditional retirement age. So you want high growth and you want flexibility, and you want to set it and forget it, in the famous words of Ron Popeil.
So high growth means diversified stocks, like an exchange traded fund then?
Yeah, you want to go more equities than bonds and cash. Yeah. You need a longer timeline to make that work, but that's what I would generally suggest.
So Ben, let me ask about the Roth IRA. So I think the Roth IRA, when you're younger, that's great because you're in a lower tax bracket. But there's somewhere as you move up on your career or your business and you're making more and more money, I mean, there's got to be a point where you're going to switch over, right, from Roth to the other more traditional IRA, correct?
Yeah, that's going to be based on personal pain tolerance. We generally think that taxes are going to be lower when we retire, but that's probably not a guarantee. We also think our income sometimes is going to be lower in retirement. Also, that's personal dependent, but I think it's your own pain tolerance for taxes. So whenever you meet with your accountant and you find that bill and it's way more than you thought, that's usually the time when people say, okay, now we're in the traditional 401k territory, not the Roth 401k territory. That's how it was for me. My income got too high and I said, okay, it's time to defer. Started paying so much in taxes.
How much are you getting started and getting rolling on this? If it's not getting the right exact investment, Paulette, how much do you think is surround sound, surrounding yourself with the right messages, the right people?
So huge. I mean, that's a big part of why I'm going to Camp FI this weekend, because I'm just like, I need to get back in reality. When I was getting out of debt, I made myself listen to Dave Ramsey, which I wouldn't do today, but I made myself listen to Dave Ramsey every day. And it was like, I just made that be the voice in my head, pounding into my head.
Was Uncle Dave yelling at you?
I needed Uncle Dave. I seriously have like an essay idea. It'd be like daddy issues and Dave Ramsey. It's like, I have a problem. So I just needed someone to yell at me.
Well, Len, it was clearly surround sound with you, with your cousin. You thought the taxes and all this stuff was cool.
Taxes were cool? Well, I don't think.
Well, yeah, your CPA. Do I have to remind you of your story?
No, but what's the taxes? I don't think taxes are cool. Who wants to pay taxes?
No, but tax planning. Tax planning is cool.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You got to think ahead of time. Absolutely
there
right.
We go. I mean, got to kickstart Uncle Len to get him started.
Did you hear him pivot mid-sentence there?
Oh, well, tax planning.
Taxes are awful. Planning is awesome.
Tax planning. Amazing.
Tax planning, that's a good thing. No, taxes are bad.
Do we have time?
It's like all of a sudden I brought out a popsicle halfway through his whoa, hey.
Where's my pudding cup?
Yeah, but for you it was surround sound, was my point. Your cool cousin liked this stuff, so surround sound important to you.
Yeah, that got me to get interested and pay attention. And you can self-motivate yourself. A great way to self-motivate yourself is just start trying. And I think most people who are listening to this podcast do it already. But if not, let's say you have your kids in their early 20s, encourage them to start tracking their income and outgo. Ask them, do you know what your income and outgo is? You start recording that and you can see that. That gets you thinking. It gets the gears turning in your head about the future and stuff like that too. So just by tracking your own income and outgo, that will encourage you kind of automatically, almost organically, to begin thinking about savings in the future.
You know what excited me on that point, Len, which I find kind of bizarre, was when somebody said, what does it cost you to just live a day? Like, how much money do you need to bring in an average day to be just neutral? In my early savings, I would just try to make every day neutral, So if I could just bring that amount in every day and not screw myself more, then it was pretty good. But I didn't even know that number. Like, setting a budget didn't make any sense to me. But once I was like, oh, I got to bring in at least as much as I consume. I don't know why the light bulb turned on because of that. Ben, for you, it was also surround sound with your grandpa, it sounds like.
It was, yeah. It was save early and often. But when I started my business, there wasn't a lot of money to save. So there was a pause in there in the traditional saving. But again, I was investing in myself, investing in my business, and hopefully it all works out.
Studies, Ben, show that we're leaving about half of people behind, right? I mean, this is another indication of half of people being left behind. We have this stat that I quote a lot about people crying about their money. There's so many resources out there. We hear, though, that people don't look at their financial situation because they're afraid of it, right? If I put it all out in front of me, I'm going to be very afraid. But is there leverage in scaring yourself? Is it good to scare yourself when you're first starting out?
Could be, if that's the way that you're motivated. I think it could be. it's kind of like what Len said. You can't expect to improve something that you're not measuring. So if fear speaks to you, that's okay. If kind of gamifying it and measuring it and trying to beat yourself, quarter over quarter, year over year, if that's what motivates you, but you've got to find what really speaks to you. I mean, if you're trying to scare the wrong person or motivate the wrong person via gamification, it wouldn't work. So you've got to know what resonates with you and then try to find something that fits that.
Paulette, does fear work for you?
Yes. It reminded me of like something that doesn't work for me is like with ADHD. I feel like a lot of people talk to you like you're an idiot. They're like, just blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, that absolutely makes sense on paper. But like in my dopamine starved brain, like going to get that avocado toast sounds amazing in the moment. And I don't care about the future. And it's like that kind of stuff is not going to work for me. So I think it's actually makes you less fearful when you actually face it, because it's like, before you're just like, you're afraid of it. And then you're like, you have to kind of look at the monster and be like, this is what it actually is. And then once you know, you can address a number. You can't address or make a plan around just general fear about your future. You can say, okay, I know I need minimum this to be safe. I would like to have this to be a little more comfortable. What does that look like? Right. And like, I am an Excel queen, so I love getting in there with all the charts and the graphs and the whatnots.
What's your number one piece of advice, Len, for people that haven't started yet to maybe help them get going?
I'd say go for what I call low-hanging fruit. So low-hanging fruit, if you don't have your own business and you're working for somebody, like 401k match, right? At least save up to the 401k match. You let the employer, he's basically doubling whatever you're putting in. So it's a risk-free investment up to that match. He's matching 100%. So, stuff like that, start that way easily. And then if you can automate some of your savings, start small, maybe take 1% out of your pay. And then with each raise, increase that number. You can do it gradually and painlessly that way.
It's funny you say that, Len, because I was at a coaching session yesterday and another entrepreneur was talking to me about how he just got diagnosed with ADHD at probably age 45, was finally diagnosed. He now has been working with an ADD coach. And this is really interesting because we hear all the time, Len, to peel off the tough stuff first, right? You only have so much battery. Do the things that are difficult first. He said that when it comes to people with ADD, ADHD, do what you said. Do the easy stuff first. Have you found, Paulette, that works better for you to do the easy stuff first? He said for two reasons. Number one, you get your brain in this win condition. And number two is you get so excited about it. By the way, his coach also said, set a timer so that you have to stop that thing your brain loves. So you don't just do that one thing all day. And instead, then you get into the difficult stuff later. And after you've had all these wins, at the end of the day, you're much more likely to tackle the tough stuff.
There's such an argument for both. What do I do? I kind of go where my energy is. And I'm like, if this is something I wanted to do anyway, and it's on my calendar for later, but it's something I can do right now. I find after like 2:00, I'm not good for creative stuff. I'm more like I can do administrative things or, just like plan, but like I don't really have access to my full brain. And I like to do the things like for me, my artistic, what did you say?
I said nap.
Nap.
After 2:00, I could nap.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. 30% of the days you'll find me napping at 2.
My calendar after 2 p.m. usually says do all this administrative stuff, and that is nap time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'll do that later.
Yeah. So, and I try to keep the beginning of my day for creative work or walking my friend's kid to daycare with her and then getting a croissant as I did this morning. It was great.
Ben, what's your best advice?
Yeah, I'm kind of along the lines of get that easy win first. This is a little bit embarrassing, but when I make a to-do list, I'll often write down something that I already did just so I can cross it off and then get that little momentum win.
We're there with you.
I'm not alone? Okay, good.
Me too.
I took a risk.
Me too.
I took a risk by admitting that. I'm glad I'm in like company.
Well, that's actually, I can't remember the name of the general, but his famous speech about make your bed. It's the first thing you do every morning is make your bed. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. You check the box and get you started.
Did he then say, make your bed on a list and check it off?
Yeah, probably.
But I like how Ben, if he made his bed yesterday, he just checks it off. Like, that's fantastic. It's even better. Huge sense of accomplishment.
I want to know if Paulette, do you put butter on your croissants?
No. They're already filled with cream cheese and guava.
That doesn't stop Len.
I mean, maybe a plain croissant, but there's so much that, like, what makes a croissant is that there's butter in every single layer. Everywhere you see a puff, that is a layer of butter. So,
Oh, I thought Len was pro more butter. He's not pro more butter.
Actually, I am more pro butter, but a croissant might be just a little pushing it there.
Nope.
I love butter.
No. It is totally encouraged.
Or just go to France and put a bunch of Nutella on it and call it breakfast and wonder why you don't live in that country. Why don't I live here?
I wonder how these people, they're not all 800 pounds.
They're like, we don't have seconds. I was like, you have firsts of Nutella and croissant for breakfast. So what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, the richest food ever. Just fantastic.
Oh, I gained. I think I was in France for 2.5 weeks and I gained a solid 10 pounds. And I was like, wow, girl, you did it.
It is just
you really did it. Those like Recolette sandwiches where there's like the wheel of cheese and they melt the thing and then they're just like make it into a cheese luge onto like a piece of bread. And they're like, here you go.
And sounds like a great game show, doesn't it? The wheel of cheese.
This seems like something I would do in my room by myself, depressed. Like I can't believe this is socially acceptable over here.
I actually, when we were in Bordeaux, we went to a restaurant that was in a cellar. It was the cheese cellar, and it was cheese only. You could get wine to go with your cheese, and you'd open up the door to the room with the cheese, which was, sealed off and controlled. Every time you opened the door, a noise went. It was quite the place.
Oh, I
need
to get with you about that.
Was that the sound of people cutting the cheese?
No, that was the sound of some cow. However,
that's your cow
and
imitation. Hold on. That's your cow imitation.
What the heck was that?
Moo. Oh, I needed to give you more moo. Is that it? I don't know. How do we get off this topic?
No
we're
idea.
on this great topic, and all of a sudden we're talking about cheese.
Len asked Paulette if she puts butter on her croissant, and then I'll help her.
And we were off and running. Yes. By the way, it was a fantastic meal. I don't know why all cheese would be a great meal, but it was a great meal, and I didn't poop for a week. So there you go. Both of those things. Anyway, let's get back on this. Ben, I have another question, which is we listed a bunch of reasons why people don't get there. They don't have the right surround sound. Maybe they need to scare themselves a little bit. Maybe they didn't have the right light bulb. They weren't thinking about investing versus saving. But we never, ever once touched on the number one thing that I see that is the reason why people don't get there. When I search online, number one thing all these financial writers write about, you're paying too much in fees, dude. You're paying too much in fees. How come we just had a conversation for almost an hour and we didn't talk about fees?
Because price only matters in the absence of value. If you're getting extreme value from something, you're never going to look at what the fee is. So that would be my 2 cents.
Len?
That was awesome. I'm gonna steal that from you, Ben, if you don't mind. I think I have nothing to add.
So do we help or do we hang ourselves when we online? Because the second that we see this, the number one piece of advice I read on the internet, right? Pay less in fees, which means, Paulette, that for most of us, the number one thing we see is don't get help, right?
And I have to be honest, I don't understand the whole fee thing. That is like one area where it's like, as I get educated, it's like the darkness turns to light and I can see that's one area where I'm like, I don't know how much I'm paying in fees. I don't know how much it's going to cost me. I have no idea.
Well, you probably should, number one. But number two is, do we hang ourselves, though? Because that's the number one thing we see. Like we're telling people don't go get help because we're so afraid of this fee monster.
Yeah, I would say don't be blind to fees. I mean, the fees can definitely add up, but make sure you're getting maximum value for your fees. So investigate to make sure you're not paying hidden fees. But I would say no hidden fees, but make sure you're getting some value for your fee. If somebody's doing some work for you, they're getting
reevaluate.
Yeah.
Reevaluate at the end of the year. Was the fees you paid, was it worth it? Like you said, Ben, it's value. I mean, evaluate. Are you getting value from those fees? If you're not, then stop.
Yeah, because I'm with you. Don't pay those fees, right? If money's just going out the window, don't pay that.
And I would say also know your exit strategy as well. Like, are you signing a long-term contract that there are fees that are hidden that you're not going to be able to get out of? So if you're in a fee situation, make sure that you know how you can terminate that the minute you're not seeing the value.
Don't say that. That's how we've kept Len Penzo here for 12 years. Don't even bring that up. Like we've been hiding that back end fee from him for a long time.
Yeah, I will say this. I have one of my IRAs, I have a managed IRA, and the fee is 1%. And I evaluate that every year. If they're performing well, because I'm not an expert in the IRA sector that I've invested in for this particular IRA. So I'm trusting the people who are running this. As long as they are showing returns, then I have no problem paying that fee, because I would probably do much worse trying to invest on my own in the particular sector. So, you just have to evaluate.
All Len stuff is in, Ben, the different precious metals. He's got that piece down.
Well, not all of it, but
but when I know, I'm kidding. I am totally kidding. All right. I think that's a great place to leave it. I think the surround sound piece, I think maybe scaring yourself. I like the idea of knowing yourself, and don't let other life get in the way. Let's find out what's going on where each of you are. We'll have our guest of honor go last. Paulette Perhach, not only are you off to Camp Phi, what else is coming up for you? You've always got something exciting going on.
Yes, and that is my problem. I need to stay in one place and handle my life. So I'm going to be doing that over the next few months, and coaching writers, setting up new programs. I actually decided after the last writing workshop I went to, or conference, so many people came up to me at my booth and thanked me for workshops I've done, for coaching, for a very important meeting, or the writer's welcome kit, that I just decided I'm going to do a shift from doing a lot of freelance corporate writing to just helping writers. So I'm shifting my business toward really just assisting writers by providing everything they need to make the writing life easier and more fun. So if people have blogs out there or are writers in any way, I'm here to help.
You're so good at it. And the number of people, by the way, that came up to me at Economy talking about your writing and the fact that we get to interface with you here on Stacking Benjamins. Like that's nice. It seems when you want to hire somebody to do something well, you hire people that are best in class. So Paulette, what's the link we go to?
ThatWriterPaulette.com.
ThatWriterPaulette.com. Mr. Penzo, what's going on at LenPenzo.com?
You know what? I haven't got this week's plan. I haven't got the main article plan. But you can always stop by, especially on Saturday mornings. I publish my Black Coffee. It's a review of the week's happenings, macroeconomics, doom and gloom, but it's got a lot of, it's really fun, actually. You can hear how much fun you have writing that. I do have fun writing it. I have fun writing, and it's actually quite entertaining. I take the best stuff off of Twitter. I take the best commentary on the macroeconomics for the week, and it's actually quite fun.
If you appreciate sarcasm at all, there might be a little bit in that post.
Sounds like a hoot.
At lenpenzo.com.
Yeah, join the fun.
Mr. Brandt, thank you so much for another great appearance. I appreciate you so much, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Well, so let's talk about it. What's something that's happening in either one of the podcasts?
Well, we've got new episodes every Monday on Retirement Starts Today. We talk about how to spend more money, pay less taxes, and have an even better retirement. So that's at retirementstartstodayradio.com. And then our tax podcast, the Retirement Tax Podcast, the least boring tax podcast, that's at retirementtaxpodcast.com. And then we have a new offering for people that want to dive deeper in retirement and tax content. We have retirementincome.university. It's our new course that we launched this year.
Nice. Retirementincome.university.
Would you believe they let anybody buy the .university suffix? I was shocked to find that out. That is
scary. That actually is so scary.
It is.
And I'm not even kidding. That is very scary. Having it does not scare me at all. But the fact that anybody can get that is, that's tough.
It sounds like .edu, but not quite.
By the way, the least boring tax podcast. So you're saying it's less boring than the other one?
So we're in an interesting position as financial podcasters, because the people that need to hear our content the most are the people that are probably not looking for it. So we want to be a little bit tongue in cheek and say, yes, taxes are boring, but we're making them as the least boring as possible. And we have a lot of fun. And I assume people that listen to this show occasionally like to have fun.
By the way, talk about sarcasm. Talk about also, this is a story, Ben, when I first met you, I had no idea how funny you were, because you can crack a joke and not crack a smile. And I get like 5 minutes later, the joke. Like I totally get it. And then I listen to your show and the show's so damn funny. Well, now the shows are so damn funny, but you can just, that sense of humor, just pretty awesome, my friend.
I did make my stand-up comedy debut on Zoom last year, so try not to be too impressed.
Should we link to that? Should we link to that?
Nope. That is dead. It's gone.
buried and gone forever.
All evidence has been destroyed.
We'll link to Paulette. We'll link to Len. We'll link to Ben on our show notes page at stackingbenjamins.com. Go check out what they are doing and get some help with your stuff, people. All right, Doug, you got it from here, man. What should we have learned today?
Well, Joe, first, some advice from our panel. Be prepared to retire earlier than you expect and possibly with more expenses than you planned. Second, take it from our guest, the great actor Benjamin Brandt. Understand what motivates you and then gamify some metrics that'll help you keep your eyes on the prize, which must have been what he did to score that sweet role on Law & Order. But the big lesson? When you pick up mowers off the side of the road, make sure they're not still hot. Owners get real bent out of shape when they come out from their water break and find you loading their mower in the back of your El Camino. Look, Howard, everybody knows if it's on the curb, it's fair game. I'm not going to tell you again. Thanks to Benjamin Brandt for joining us today. You'll find Benjamin's podcast, Retirement Starts Today, wherever you're listening to us right now. We'll also include links in our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. Thanks to Len Penzo for joining us today. You can find Len at lenpenzo.com/tax planning is fun. Thanks to Paulette Perhach for joining us. Need to make a better impression with your writing? Looking to break into the business of writing? Paulette is ready to be your writing coach. Head to thatwriterpaulette.com for details. This show is the property of SB Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2023, and is created by Joe Salcihai. Our producer is Karen Repine. This show was written by Lacey Langford, who's also the host of the Military Money Show, with help from me, Joe, and Doc G from the Earn and Invest podcast. Kevin Bailey helps us take a deeper dive into all the topics covered on each episode in our newsletter called The 201. You'll find the 411 on all things money at the 201. Just visit stackingbenjamins.com/201. Tina Eichenberg makes the video version of this show. Once we bottle up all this goodness, we ship it to our engineer, the amazing Steve Stewart. Steve helps the rest of our team sound nearly as good as I do right now. Want to chat with friends about the show later? Mom's friend Gertrude and Kate Yunkin are our social media coordinators, and Gertrude is the room mother in our Facebook group called The Basement. So, say hello when you see us posting online. To join all the basement fun with other stackers, type stackingbenjamins.com/basement. Not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.
By the way, so Benjamin told me when I was visiting with him and his way above his league spouse,
She thought she was marrying the other Benjamin Brandt. Honestly, she thought.
She must have. I'm like, what is she doing with him? And by the way, Ben did the coolest thing at dinner, which I have replicated since then. The awesome waiter, she comes out and she said, dessert. And you said, we'll have one of each. They had 4 different desserts and we tried them all. And they're like, what, Norwegian desserts?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. They were so good. And that was so fun. You know, it's right in the middle of COVID. We're all eating off the same plate.
Good for the immune system.
Not true. But I mean, not true. It wasn't during COVID. But you told us to go to this thing called because we went. What's the outdoor play called?
Oh, the Medora musical and the Pitchfork Fondue.
Yes. So to go to the musical at Theodore Roosevelt National Park. So it is this outdoor musical where they start off with like the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem. It is all God, bad jokes, and yeehaw family fun. I thought it was a blast. It was like the hokiest, funnest, cheesiest thing. But beforehand, Ben tells me to go get the pitchfork fondue. Paulette, have you had pitchfork fondue?
I don't think so.
So here's what happens. This is the way they do it in North Dakota. They take a steak, like a ribeye steak. They shove it on the end of a pitchfork. They have like a garbage barrel full of hot oil, and they shove the pitchfork in the oil. I don't know. They count to 10 or something. I have no idea. And they pull it out, and it goes on a little tin plate. You get some beans.
My God,
you get
amazing.
Oh yeah, they're playing.
Awesome.
I want that.
Good music.
And you ate at the Cowboy Cafe too, right?
At the Cowboy Cafe.
Yeah, it's got all the Cowboy Hall of Fame pictures. It's like an old diner.
Yeah, we went there the first day. That was like the first place we went. That was delicious. And there's a line a mile long to get in.
Love that place.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Have you guys been? Len, have you been to Theodore Roosevelt?
No, North Dakota is one of 5 states that I have not been to. So that's going to be one of the, I will, when I get to North Dakota, I will be sure to check it out.
What are the other 4?
Idaho, Montana, Wisconsin, and Alaska.
Yeah.
We just have not done Hawaii. Hawaii's my last one. Paulette, what about you?
I haven't done a lot of them.
The one you're most excited to go to?
Well, the one I really want to go to is, Yellowstone. I haven't been to Yellowstone or Zion.
That's not a state.
But that's when we got.
Oh, I thought we were.
That's when we got Idaho. Was the first time was when we went to Zion.
Idaho.
Or not to Zion, to Yellowstone. But then I ran the Pocatello Marathon, which, by the way, at the Pocatello Marathon, they take you up, they load everybody into buses. They take you to the top of a mountain. It's pre-dawn and there's stars above. There's a goat farm right across the road from where they drop you off. And the dudes of this UPS truck are setting up the starting line.
Joe's like, I've been to this party before.
They set up the starting line.
I was in a fraternity.
They set up the starting line right in front of you, and you toss your stuff in the back of the UPS truck, and then you start running, and you run the first 13 miles down the mountain. Like the first, which I thought was going to be heaven. And then I get to the 6 mile mark, and I'm with this pace group that's 2 groups ahead of my normal group. Like I'm effing flying down the mountain. And the guy leading the pace group goes, "Hey, you guys are doing great. How's your quads holding up?" And I'm like, "Quads?" And then I start thinking physiology, and I go, "Oh, And we get to like the 13 mile mark, and all of a sudden I'm running with 2 bricks. Like, right. Oh my God. When it flattened out, then it was horrible, but I still had my best time. And you know what they give you when you finish? A sack of potatoes.
A goat?
They give you a free goat. You get your own goat. Luckily, Paulette, I'd name mine ahead of time.